Hello guys, Dusty here with another YouTube Records pickup video. So yeah, the past few have been going pretty well, so I'm going to try to keep doing these every time I find records. The only problem is this is kind of the dry season here in Iowa, so there's like nothing outside. Everybody's just huddled up inside their igloos to stay warm. But yeah, we did manage to find some records at the Mason City Pawnshop again. So go ahead and kind of go through the story of how I got those. So I went in there. I don't go in there very often, because they really don't rotate their inventory very frequently. So, you know, I just go in there once a month, kind of go through, see if there's anything interesting, either for video games or for records. And, you know, I was looking through for video games first, and when I was looking through, they had the shelves situated so that they were, like, this way, and then the records were, like, this way, because typically the records don't change very often. I mean, occasionally they'll put out some new records, but, you know, for the most part, it's mostly the same old, same old. And then I saw something that, you know, really caught my eye, so I went to check the records, and there was a bunch of records that I actually wanted. So for starters, I'll start with some of the ones that had actually gotten marked down, I think, from when I last saw them. I think these ones were 5, and then they marked them down to 3, which is a much better price to pay for these ones. First off, we have Get the Knack from the Knack, pretty much the only Knack album I feel like I immediately need. Yeah, it was $3. It's in really nice shape, for the most part, besides, some, like, stressing up top here. Yeah, record itself is in good shape. I spin cleaned it. Looks perfect. What more can you ask? $3. And then actually, they ended up, I grabbed $21 worth of records. They charged me 20, so realistically it was $2 when you think about it. But, anyway, next up, we got one that was there. It was $5. I didn't want to pay $5 for this in this kind of rough of shape. I would have paid $3 though, definitely, any day of the week, and that is Simon & Garfunkel's Bookends, because I did not own this album before, and now I do own this album. Granted, not in the greatest of shape. There's definitely some wear up top there, and, you know, it's not in fantastic shape, but still, I think even a not the greatest shape copy of this album was worth $3, particularly when you don't have it already. I don't know. Might want to upgrade it at some point, but yeah. And the record, by the way, is also a really nice shape, same as the Knack one there. But the adhesive's kind of worn off on the side, so you kind of have to send it in, you know, through the, like, back under these things. So kind of a little bit weird, but whatever, it's fine. So, then the next albums were a little bit more interesting. These are ones that I was willing to pay $5 for, and they gotta be good albums if I'm willing to pay $5 for them, because let me tell you, out of all of these albums right here, very few of them I paid over $1 for. So, with some exceptions, of course, but yeah, I did manage to find some that were like, and it looked like they had just put them out. They were like right up front in their $5 section of albums. So the first one was, of course, songs about buildings and food. More songs about building and food. Sorry. It is called More Songs About Buildings and Food. Yeah, More Songs About Buildings and Food. Man, I suck at remembering things. But yeah, this is actually the Talking Heads' second album, and it's the Talking Heads album, of course. And it's a fantastic album, from what I hear. I haven't listened to this one in entirety myself, but for $5, it's like, how do you pass that up? And I think the only reason they priced this one $5 is, yeah, there was some damage to the inner sleeve there, but the record itself is in really nice shape, and there's also the adhesive was worn off on the bottom here, so I'll either have to re-adhesive that or just kind of deal with it. But yeah, other than that, it's in decent shape. $5. This is definitely more than a $5 album in most circles. Maybe not in this shape, but you know, the album itself is in really good shape, and that's the number one thing I care about, is that if I put it on my turntable, it sounds good. So, and this one sounds good when I put it on my turntable. So, yep, that was that one. Okay, next one. And oh yeah, also they did have Fear of Music and 77 there too. But unfortunately, those were in the $10 bin. I would have very happily paid $5 for them, and I would have even happily paid $10 for them, but they just weren't in the best of shape. So they were basically in that shape, and yeah, maybe they're worth a little bit more than songs about buildings, more songs about buildings and food. But yeah, I don't know. I wasn't willing to pay that much for them. I might be able to get them better in a lot in eBay, or I might be able to get them in much better shape at a record store or something like that. So decided to pass on those ones, but one that I did not decide to pass on was one that I have been looking for. Like, I have been looking for this album. Like, I have bid on a couple on eBay, and you know, I haven't been able to find a copy because I live in Iowa. Glam rock wasn't that popular here. But I managed to finally find Sweet's Desolation Boulevard, which I actually just completely listened to this album, and I don't know, I might have to do a retrospective or something like that. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Sweet, or The Sweet, or whatever you like to call them. And yeah, this has some of their more, you know, just iconic songs like Ballroom Blitz and 16's Fox on the Run, that kind of thing. But it's such a freaking fantastic album. Like, it is a fantastic album. Not gonna do the retrospective yet, but it's a fantastic album. And it's in decent shape, and it was $5. So, you know, I was willing to pay probably upwards of that for it. So $5, despite the fact you know, it has some wear over here, and the sleeve is also very worn, as you can see with the record poking out there. The reason I bought it for $5, the record was in just fantastic shape. Like, fantastic shape. So, listen through, very, very few noticeable blemishes. So yeah, nonetheless, Desolation Boulevard, $5, sweet, you gotta love it. Alright, this last album was one that I don't regret buying it, okay? Now, all those other albums, those were in fantastic shape. Like, the record itself was in fantastic shape. This one, I can't say the same thing, unfortunately. But when you see this album for $5, and when you've been looking for it for a very long time, it's hard to pass it up. And I figured, for $5, it's like a $15, $20 album. I might as well, you know, take the risk on it. Maybe it'll clean up and it'll sound perfectly fine. So I put it in the spin clean, tested it out, and yeah, you could definitely hear some blemishes, definitely hear some pops, crackles, Rice Krispies, that kind of thing. But nonetheless, we got a copy, original pressing of Changes One Bowie. And yeah, it was in much worse shape before I cleaned it off, because it was just covered in dirt. But like, yeah, it's not fantastic shape. It's not fantastic shape. But this is actually it's so dusty it's making me cough. But yeah, this is actually the first David Bowie album I've ever found in person. All of my other David Bowie albums have either came from eBay or BestBuy.com or David Bowie's website. So, you know, finally good to find one in person. And yeah, the album itself, I should probably show you this. I actually put it in a new inner sleeve because this is the inner sleeve it came in. I don't want to touch that, honestly. But the album itself, and this inner sleeve's not in the greatest of shape. I got it off of a cheapo consolation album. Like, it's got, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this. It's got quite a bit of scratches around the lead-in, like quite a bit of scratches around the lead-in, and you know, quite a few scratches along the album. It listens okay, but not as good as I'd like. Like, when you get into the inner songs, it usually sounds fine, but yeah, nonetheless, I'm just happy to have Changes One Bowie, and I've already listened to it 1.5 times, so yeah, I suppose you could say I've gotten my money's worth out of it, or at least I'm going to. I'm probably going to put this on the turntable when I'm not doing as much hi-fi listening, or, you know, I'm just like cleaning the house or something like that. This is a good album for that. But yeah, $5 for Changes One Bowie. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you think I made a horrible mistake. But it was kind of a gamble either way. So that's pretty much it for pickups in this video. Yeah, I know. Just haven't been finding much. But I did I'm talking just like 10 minutes ago, I bought an album on eBay that I'm very excited about. And you know, I'm looking around. I'm planning on going to a record store eventually in Ames, Iowa. I'm planning on venturing out to the distant lands of Ames, Iowa, and doing all my Sam's Club shopping, and also going to the record store over there, because I've never been there before, and I think it should be pretty interesting. It gets fairly good reviews, so yeah, it's gonna be exciting. And by the way, also for the video schedule for this January, I had announced on my Christmas update that I was going to be doing, you know, constant weekly uploads on, I believe, Thursdays. I'm pretty sure Thursdays. Which I'm still planning on instating that eventually. However, I've been going through kind of a work transition right now, so instead of working 55-ish hours right now, I'm working around 80-ish hours, so I just got off of work. I now am making this video, and then I'm probably going to go to bed and then go back to work in the morning. But yeah, I'm planning on eventually, when things die back down, I do plan on adhering to that schedule. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's all I have to talk about in this video. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see y'all next time. Take it easy.